Hey guys, AJ here back with another one for you. So I hope everyone's having a good holiday. I hope you're taking some time off, having time to spend with your families. You know what I mean? And yeah, guys, I was gonna do a TCAP video today, but then I saw this case right here, and I just had to do a video on it. This is from Law and Crimes channel. If you guys haven't subbed to them yet, please sub to them, guys. Check them out. Because this is a married couple that got busted trying to meet underage girls. Clown world. Absolute clown world. So, guys, we're going to get into this, but before we do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, because it really helps keep this channel going. Join the Discord, guys. I drop that on the live streams, or I'll drop it in the comments if you request it, because we have a lot of fun over there. If you have a request for a TCAP predator, guys, I will do your request. Just list it in the comments, guys. Yeah, and let's go.
A couple in Arkansas were busted for apparently traveling hundreds of miles to
Clown
allegedly
world.
meet an underage girl for sex. But guess what? It was a sting operation. And now they're both facing felony charges. We're
Look at
talking
that.
with retired FBI agent Colin Schmidt. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
Guys, put in the comments if you've ever seen a couple to try and do this before. I think there was that Mr. Gary. He had a girl trying to help him get the decoy. So the decoy talked on the phone with a woman. You guys know he was in the, I believe in the Georgia sting. I'm gonna lose everything I got, Mr. Gary. I don't want to go to prison. You remember him? Okay.
All right, we do want to warn you, this story is disturbing, and it has some really...
I'm Stone Phillips. And what you're about to see is explicit. Right, guys?
sickening details. An Arkansas minor league football coach
Disgusting.
and his wife are accused of driving 200 miles to allegedly meet up with an underage girl for sex.
That's crazy.
Turns out the person the couple was chatting with online was an undercover cop.
Thank God.
26-year-old Benjamin Coney and 25-year-old Emily Grace Brinley are now charged with internet stalking of a minor and conspiracy to commit rape. We bring in retired FBI agent and the president of Kronos Investigations, Colin Schmidt. He's back with us here on Sidebar. Colin, good to see you. I want to go through the timeline of this,
Yes,
and we'll break it down
please
each
do.
step. So, according to the probable cause affidavit, the detective, who was apparently posing as a young girl, got this direct message at the end of November from an account believed to be shared by Coney and Brinley. And after about a week, the conversation moved to an encrypted app, and the messages became so vulgar that I'm not even going to share them. But generally, do we see this kind of sting operation using this kind of technology?
All the time. It used to be something that only many years ago the FBI and Customs would do. Now, all law enforcement agencies have the ability to do this because of
Good.
the way the internet is set up. And the FBI, for example, does give specific training to law enforcement on how to do undercover operations or online undercover operations. So it sounds like these law enforcement officers down there did a fantastic job, and good on them on getting a predator.
Yeah, guys, let's give whoever that those law enforcement officers were a round of applause. Because you guys know how I feel. Guys, we went over this interview with this knuckleheaded chick named Kathleen that was talking about how she thinks that these types of TCAP style investigations are unconstitutional and they target men, blah, blah, blah. Guys, no, these stings do a lot of good work, okay?
Off the streets.
I'm always surprised that you have these predators who use this kind of technology. Don't they know they're going to get caught?
I think they're so overwhelmed by their own desires and their own need to fill whatever void is in their lives. And it also shows another.
Don't these two look like they're related? Now I can't unsee it. Look at that.
Aspect of this is we have a lot of great coaches. My kids play soccer. They're all fantastic. But also remember that people are going to be attracted to areas where they can get access to victims. So the fact that he was a coach and he at some point he had access to children really is concerning. And I'm sure those law enforcement officers down there are expanding their investigation to make sure he hasn't harmed anybody.
Hey, everybody, this is a Morgan & Morgan legal alert. Evidence shows that Google has allegedly it only takes a few minutes. You're an officer. You have to make sure who you're talking to, right? So the officer wrote in the filing that she could tell it was Coney that she was talking to. So she asked him about his wife, right? And he said that she was sitting right beside him.
What?
So the detective then asked Coney and Brinley to send a photo of themselves, holding up a piece of paper with something specific on it. The couple sends back a photo which includes Brinley topless, something the officer hadn't even asked for.
No way.
That I thought was, other than the fact that that's pretty disturbing that you're sending this to what you think is a minor, you're also...
what is wrong with this chick's face? Look at that. You see her cheeks? Like, what is that? Like acne or what is that,
you have this detective confirming it's these two people that she's talking to, or this detective's talking to.
Once again, this detective did a fantastic job. That's the core of this case. You got to know who you're talking to.
Yep.
And this guy made it easy for him. And certainly it was almost an issue of reverse grooming. I think the suspect thought he was grooming the detective, but in fact, the detective was grooming him to get him to give up that information. He finally did. And then the case was made.
I also saw reporting that they might have had phone calls with this undercover agent.
Oh, wow.
And you can hear their voices, which if that's the case, that becomes really hard to argue against, right?
They're still going to try, right? Right, guys? They're still going to try and get a lawyer. And they're going to go, we have evidence that you were trying to meet an underage girl. And they're going to go,
how dare you?
Accuse us of trying to meet an underage girl?
How dare you?
I'm a married man. She's a married woman. I'm a football coach. Please, right?
Yeah, the case on the photograph, all this evidence is basically direct. Doesn't appear to be much circumstantial here, which basically shows that it's going to go. If it was to go to a jury, it's going to be an open and shut case.
I hope so.
And it's based upon this detective had great training. He knew what he was doing, and he knew the elements of the crime, and he made sure he was very strategic about getting each element met so he could ensure that this case was done quickly, quietly, and with efficiency.
I'm going to sidebar this, guys. You know how I feel. I believe one strike and you're out, okay? One strike and you're out. I'm not going to say what I think should be done to these people because it's YouTube and I don't want to be kicked off. But it should be one strike and you're out and that's it.
Yeah, it gets worse, though. So Coney reportedly told this undercover agent, this officer, that he had what he called taboo fantasies and said that he and his wife were looking for a prepubescent. And that same day, November 29th, Coney asked to meet up with this girl, again, this undercover agent. So he and his wife, they allegedly drive 200 miles from Conway, Arkansas to Bentonville, Arkansas. They were immediately arrested.
Look at that. They drove 200 miles. They Tokyo drifted the friggin' the 91 Tahoe, you know what I'm saying? Or the or the GMC Safari van into the parking lot. But guess what, guys? That's what I was waiting for you.
First, the idea that they would travel that far to do this, and I mean, you mentioned before that they're so consumed with the desires.
Disgusting.
That is really next level.
Yeah, that is the next level. So I used to help out on this years ago when this kind of behavior and law enforcement just started getting involved in the online undercovers, and we called them travelers. And then when the travelers showed up, every time they had a bag in the back, and
I wonder if they were like, "Do you have a addiction to the internet? Or do you have a compulsion here?" You know what I mean?
We refer to that as the rape kit because that's what their objective was to harm that they're and go there. So once again, I'm sure there was a gigantic team of cops there.
Guys, that sound issue is on the police officer side. That's not my sound. Okay.
And then when he showed up, they took care of business, and it appears by the article he did have a rape kit in
Look
his
at
backseat
that.
of his car.
Now, according to documents, again, that were filed in court, during the search of their vehicle, they find law enforcement 2 sexual aids, lube, and the receipt for the lube.
Dang.
Now, that's something that just makes your skin crawl.
Huh.
What does that tell you?
That he just proved all the elements right there with intent. You know, he had knowledge of the crime, and that showed his intent. So was a two very sick people who were predators, and thank the Lord that law enforcement was able to take them off the street.
He's right, guys. He's
Okay,
right.
now let's talk about the fact that they interviewed them. So they were taken separately, not together, separately to the Benton County Sheriff's Office, and they're interviewed. And according to the court records, Brinley and the wife reportedly said that she was just trying to be a good wife and that she wasn't interested in children.
Oh,
She's-
please, guys.
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
Come on. Oh, I didn't really want to do it. My husband made me do it. No, you're a perv too.
Said she went along with what Coney said and repeated stuff that she heard him say. She said she was not going to do anything with any children and she just wanted to make him happy. Now, the affidavit says that he told the detective, Coney, that he could talk a big game on the phone, but he didn't think he would actually do anything in real life. He also reportedly told law enforcement that his wife would not do this without him, but that she also wouldn't tell him no. So it kind of
seems like they're throwing each other under the bus and all the basic excuses that we hear from all the TCAP guys. I talk a big game, but I know in my heart that I wouldn't have done it. Or what did Jeff Stacey say? Just some kissing. It wouldn't have gone any further because I know myself. And then, what's his name? Never, ever, 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 right? Alan Cherney.
Deems, I don't know if it's fair to say they're putting the blame on one another.
Of course they are.
They're almost, I don't know, excusing their role in it. I was hard for me to make sense of it. What do you make of that?
Well, that's it's more about what the questions that were asked. And there's a classic confession or interrogation technique is you give the bad guy, bad girl in this case, an opportunity at rationalization, because really the elements don't care why you did it. I mean, in this case, all the elements were met, especially with them traveling. They showed extreme intent as well as what was in the backseat of that car. Yeah. So in terms of what they said in the interrogation, they were trying to rationalize. And that's basically the detectives gave them out, so to speak, so they would admit to the crime. But
the wife looks so radically different in all the pictures. It's like her weight is fluctuated, her skin is fluctuated. It literally looks like this guy is with different women in each picture, right?
Upon the fact that this was a corroborated confession, they had all this exterior evidence. It really didn't matter their reasoning on why they did it. The fact is they admitted to doing it.
Seemed pretty open with what they did, right? I mean, apparently when the detective spoke with Coney, he told police that they could find child sexual abuse material on his devices. Openly told
you guys, I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, so I'm not going to call this guy names. This person is not a good person. Of course he had child porn. Of course. Did you doubt that for a second, guys? And I bet he and the wife watched it together. Of course.
Told them that. That seems strange. Because that also seems like more charges.
Yeah, and he's looking at federal time too, potentially, which is mandatory minimums as far as the federal government, 15 to life, depending on how much is on his device. And if he's got videos, he's going to end up spending both of them a very long time in prison. But it sounds like he was trying to rationalize. Well, it was just videos, or I was just.
There you go. There it is. There it is, guys. He said
it's just talking. I don't see the internet and real life are two different things.
And you might have even used the
hey NBC, 2 words, role playing chat room, dude.
You know what I mean?
Downloading stuff. I didn't want to actually harm anybody. But once again, that the evidence or the images that are on his computer may actually cause him to get more time if in case the FBI or HSI decides to take over this investigation.
crazy to think about if they actually came in contact with a real minor. What could have happened? Disturbing to think about. They're both obviously arrested, charged. They're in the Benton County Jail on $250,000 bond each. I want to go back to the fact that he was the head coach for the Arkansas Punishers football team up until Friday. They fired him. According
Good.
to their website, the Arkansas Punishers are a minor league football team competing in the Next Level Football Alliance, and the roster includes many former high school and college athletes from across the Southeast United States. Is it impossible for them to have known this is who they hired?
Well, I mean, you kind of have to look back at maybe what happened at Penn State. I mean, was there signs? Most likely. But if you're not looking for the signs, they might have missed them. And in this case, they would likely go back and they're going to interview a lot of those players and former players to see if he had done anything of any kind of issue so they can identify any potential other victims.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. So that you think that his role on that team is also going to factor into this case?
Well, I don't know, other than the fact that he was around young men,
right?
And he was saying all these really crazy things, and he's involved. It sounds like he's involved in child pornography, at least downloading it.
That's crazy.
Part of their investigation will be likely to talk to some of these players to say, okay, was there anything else going on that we need to know about? Because the number one goal of this investigation is obviously to get them off the street, but the secondary goal is to identify any other victims, not only to give them justice, but also to give services they need so they can recover from this.
My gosh, how many kinds of operations are there really going every day trying to weed out these predators? I mean, how extensive are these operations and how successful? Because I can imagine that like I said, there's sometimes people, they're really talking to the real minors. They're not talking to undercover agents. How difficult is it for law enforcement to conduct these operations every day?
Well, it's just a drop in the bucket of what he did. There was so much of this going on because of the freedom on the internet. Fortunately, every single sheriff's department in the United States has some form of these operations going on, and there's cops everywhere trying to do their best to combat this behavior. But it's, like I said, it's an ocean of deviancy out there.
That's true.
And this is just
never. That's a good term. An ocean of deviancy. That's such an interesting term, an ocean of deviancy.
Fortunately, they were able to get one or two bad people off the street.
Colin Schmidt, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Coming on, talking to us about it. Always like having you on Sidebar.
Thank you for having me on. I do appreciate it.
Guys, what do you think of this case? These two knuckleheads right here. These are two bad people, man. Seriously. Bad people. And this is the best part about TCAP, guys. See, all of us know that that you can't tell what a perv looks like. Black, white, married, not married, male, female, gay, straight, it doesn't matter, right? We are not surprised by this. Others might be, but us TCAP fans, we are not surprised by anything anymore. So, all right, you guys. Let me know if you guys heard about this case. I'm gonna try and do more videos like this on the channel to kind of spice things up a little bit. Yeah, guys. I hope you have a good holiday, and I'm out of here. Have a good one, guys.